4-H Youth Program Development Coordinator with the University of Illinois Extension. Taylor, good morning to you. How are you?
Good. I'm a little cold, but
I am the same on this end, and I don't think we're going to take any breaks from that here this
well,
weekend. Looking like some 0-degree overnight highs or lows, if we want to call them that, and does not look great. But that kind of reminds me of something that you took place in just a little bit ago, or had take place just a little bit ago, just last night, matter of fact. And you were telling us before we got started here today about your Evergreen Porch Pot workshop. I'm wondering how that went for you last night.
yeah, it actually went really good. So I think we had 16 or 17 kids. I'm kind of forgetting for some reason which was exact. But the kids got to make their own little like porch pots last night. So they were made from natural evergreen. We had some pine cones to go in there, some really pretty red dogwood that Andrew had found. And then he even had some gorgeous winter berries that got to go in them. And all the kids got to create their pots, and they were stunning. I actually was really sad that I didn't get to make one myself.
I can imagine. And we were talking about how that room probably smelled. And I just have to imagine it was obviously just a wonderful smell. Now, when it came to you gave them all the components, we'll call them, and you gave them all the materials. Did you just kind of let them have their hand at putting it together and just kind of what they felt was best? Or did you guys have kind of a structure? Let's make it kind of this way.
Yeah, so it was very much, we had kind of all their materials like in their bag of their different like greenery options that they could have. I couldn't tell you exactly what all of the names of them were. But then we had the winter berries, and then we had some of the dogwood, so they got to go up and just grab what they wanted to put into their porch pot, and we just let them design out however they wanted to do it. I think he even had some holly there, but they got to do whatever they wanted and completely make it all their own.
Well, I like to hear that, and giving them the freedom to be able to do so. But also, everybody thinks about wreaths and different, like you got to have your Christmas tree up and stuff like that. But you never really hear too often about porch pots or decorative
No.
displays in that way. Maybe for Halloween, maybe for Thanksgiving, but I don't hear a lot about that when it comes to winter or our holiday season, with Christmas being on its way. And so I think that was a really cool thing for you. Was that the first time you guys had put that on?
Yeah, Andrew had actually came up with it. No, maybe back in like the summertime he was talking about it. We could do porch pots, and I was like, I've never even seen these. So he had told me to go and kind of look them up, and I went and looked them up. I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, these are stunning. I was like, I've never seen a class or anything like this. I was like, I think this would be a really fun opportunity for the kids.
And is it something we're thinking, yeah, let's bring it back next year after we had maybe 16, 17 kids partake this year?
I would love to. Usually we try and alternate our options. So next year we'll probably end up doing wreaths again, but like the year after we'll do it just so that way it's not the same thing. But it'll definitely be probably something that we consistently plan to use every other year at least.
Well, I like to hear that, especially with having been thinking about it since the summertime. And I'm sure Andrew was able to scrounge up some pretty neat things to be able to add to the display. But yes, I'm kind of jealous. I just almost wanted to be in that room. It probably smelled like a beautiful candle. So I don't know. I don't know why. It just feels like you brought in Christmas almost with that workshop there. Anything else when it comes to that before we touch on some of the things that are coming up for you?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, let's do so. So 4-H Cook and Connect is kind of next up on your list here. And I know that this is kind of a different deal where we're hoping to give you a kit and take it home. What can you tell us about it and when it might run from?
So it can be a workshop focus, but it also is a community service opportunity at the same time, which was kind of like fun and unique. I hadn't done this. This is something they had like started during COVID. And we had some requests to bring them back. So what it was is they can go in and they can choose like, there's a couple different meals that they can make. There's like lasagna roll-ups. There's like 7 or 8 different recipes that they can choose, and they'll pick their recipe, and then they can also choose if they want to create a kit that we're going to donate to the food pantries that a family can bring home and also do themselves. So that way, like if they want to also offer it for someone else's family, maybe they can get to do it also.
Okay.
The deadline to sign up for this workshop was yesterday. But if someone were to reach out today and say that they're interested in this opportunity, we would absolutely make sure we get the supplies so that way they can be able to participate, just because we don't want anybody to miss out on the opportunity.
Well, I wouldn't want that with lasagna roll-ups being the first thing you mentioned there, meal-wise. That sounds amazing. I might be a little hungry here this morning too. On top of that, but you mentioned it's kind of a twofold thing: community service and also a workshop. Is that
Yeah.
something that you know are actively trying to do it to the best of your ability? Obviously, some things are 4-H specific, but there are a lot of times you open your things up to the community too. So, how important is that for you to have those opportunities for the community to join you just the same?
Yeah, so this doesn't have to be like you don't have to be a 4-H member to be able to do this. Anyone can participate in this one. I mean, even if somebody outside of 4-H wants to give back to some other families, like they can very easily still do that if they want to donate a kit for another family.
Okay. And with that being the case, how much would it roughly cost me, and when could I come pick that up, and what kind of details maybe should folks know before we move on to some of your other things?
Yeah, the cost of this one is $10. Like I said, yesterday was the last day to sign up, but we still take it today. We haven't done our pickup order for all the supplies so that way we can start making the kits. So, like, if you're interested in this, like, give us a call. We'll get you set up and make sure that we secure you so that way you can get the supplies. But the kits will be available to be picked up Tuesday, December 16th to Friday, December 19th in the offices.
Okay, perfect. So the 16th through the 19th, get yourself a $10 meal kit, make that donation if you'd like, or make it at home, whatever the case might be. All community members are welcome. It is not 4-H specific. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. And that is a look at their 4-H Cook and Connect coming up here in just the next couple of days. And they're being generous, extending their registration for just one day if they can allow it here today. Well, Taylor, that kind of wraps up your year or your calendar year, but that's not exactly how 4-H operates. And I know that much now because of you. But next year, as we make our way into it, the first thing I'm seeing here is a 4-H pie workshop. What's going on there?
Yeah, so I actually had we had a volunteer just kind of reach out and say she was interested in offering some more opportunities for the kids, and we were like, okay, what kind of interests do you have? And she had shot out pies, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, that would be so much fun. I was like, we haven't done something like that. So I jumped on the bandwagon, and we were able to get this pie workshop scheduled. I actually think it's already almost halfway full. But the cost of it is $8, and they're going to get to make an apple pie. So like the really pretty, like woven basket look that's really pretty. They're going to get to spend some time doing that. It's for ages 8 to 18. But if there is someone interested, from the ages 5 to 7, they're welcome to give my office a call or shoot me an email. And we can talk about being able to come to it. Usually I just kind of ask an adult to be present with them, just to make sure we have extra hands in case they need some extra help. But that way we make sure the workshop kind of fills up that way.
Sure. And I'm glad to hear that it's already nearly halfway full, if not at that
Yeah.
mark already. So January 13th from 5:30 to 7, going to cost you about $8. And you mentioned we're kind of making fancy pies, I guess is what I'm going to call them here, with the lattice style. You mentioned a basket style almost. So we're really learning how to make
Yeah.
a pretty pie.
Yeah, a lot of times a lot of people, not everyone kind of does it. They might just put like the crust over the top and just kind of poke some holes in it. But sometimes you'll get some really pretty ones where they get to like alternate like the dough, the little strips of dough where they like weave them in and out of each other. So that way, like they're really pretty looking that way. They take some time,
Mhm.
but
Before it starts being served, it looks awfully good. And then hopefully it's just as good. And then it's empty by the time then it's taken care of. You mentioned apple pie there. What's your favorite pie, Taylor?
I probably pecan pie. Otherwise, I'm not a super big pie fan, actually.
Oh, she
They
outed
smell
herself.
good.
Yeah, well, the pecan pie is super rich and super good, no doubt. But I'm a big fan of the apple pie myself. So I like the sound of that. Anything else, though, when it comes to our 4-H pie workshop and registration, anything along those lines?
This is January 13th. I believe it's a Tuesday. It's from 5:30 to 7 at the extension office. And again, we're only allowing 10 people for this workshop, and I think we're about halfway filled up. So if someone is interested, give us a call. We will give you the directions, get you signed up, so that way we can secure your spot because we'd love to see this workshop fill up.
Well, and with 10 slots there, I'm sure that it will do just that. And so hopefully people that are hearing this now or plan to see it online later will jump on that opportunity on January 13th. Learn how to make a pretty pie, which is hopefully going to taste just as good, should taste just as good, if not better. Sometimes it's a weird thing like that. Well, there's another deal coming up not too long after that. Near the start of February, you've got a 4-H show book cover design contest. And what's going on with this one?
Yeah, so this one is for 4-H members only. But if someone is wanting to join 4-H and participate in this, they're absolutely welcome to participate. You just need to get them into the 4-H website. But this one, I love to see the kids get so creative with this. We have like our show books that we create every year, and usually we have a little contest for the front cover page and the back page too. But we'll put them on the front cover or the back, and they get to have their name on there and show off their pretty artwork, which is kind of cool.
Well, for them, to have a chance to see their art kind of be put on something that is passed around or is is out there in the community for anybody to really take a look at. I do feel like that's a unique opportunity. Is there anything in terms of like requirements when it comes to actually submitting it, or do you have a deadline in terms of getting that into you?
The deadline for it is February 6th. There are kind of some like specific rules for it, mostly that we need like the title of Christian County 4-H show book on it and the year. So that way, every year we have a new one. So that way we just have the year on the show book so people know what year it is. And that's kind of the big one. So yeah, those are the biggest rules that you have to have that on there. And then either you can turn that into the extension office, or you can email your show book cover to me at tpope4@illinois.edu, and we can get that submitted for an entry for the show book cover contest.
Okay. Now, when do you have, say February 6th is the deadline, when do you have to decide on which artwork you're going to use and then have it ready for the show book to be printed and getting passed around?
So once I get all the submissions, I will send it out to a bunch of people and kind of like help do some voting to help us pick what our show book cover design looks like. And then once I have that picked, then I will work on the printing process of getting them like our big books. They're like 100 pages or so, printing them out, getting them showed up. And then once they're done, then I will announce who got the cover contest winner.
Okay. Well, last question for you before we take a break. When it comes to your show book cover contest, do I, other than just, the fact that, hey, I get to feel pretty good about it being on the show book, is there any other thing that I maybe is associated with it?
Yeah, I mean, you get to say that you got to be on the cover of the 2026 show book.
I think that's good enough. I was just wondering if there was maybe one extra small deal in there. And so, yeah, I think that is plenty good to have your artwork featured, considering I've never had anything like that happen. So there's probably better artists out there, and hopefully some of them are in the form of 4-H and Cloverbud aged kids. Well, Taylor, let's take ourselves a break. We're joined by Taylor Sinclair, 4-H Youth Program Development Coordinator with the University of Illinois Extension. And we'll come back and we'll talk more with what's to come in the next year. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
Your information station.
All right, Taylor, my hot
Check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Two-sided trade at this hour. March corn up 1 3/4, 446. May corn up 1 1/2, 453 1/4. New crop December 464 1/4, up half a penny. January beans 1088 1/4, down 3. March beans down 4, 1097. New crop November 1094 1/4, down 1 1/4. March wheat 531 3/4, up 2 1/4. May wheat up 1 3/4, 539 1/2. January bean meal 301.60, that's up 40 cents. January bean oil 50.62, down 47 cents. Livestock trade, January feeders 342.90, up 452. December live cattle up 315, 229.95. December lean hogs 82.97, up 52 cents. Energy market, January crude oil down $1.07, 57.39. RFD Radio Network.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Time for Taylorville's 6th annual holiday decorating contest. Hi, we're the Kinnegar sales team at the Real Estate Group.
And I'm Jerry Poor with Advanced Title Group. We're excited to team up again to bring this fun community tradition.
with a $500 cash prize for the best decorated home and business.
Get all the details and sign up at kinneygars.com/holiday. That's KINNEYGARST.
And thanks for helping make Taylorville merry and bright.
Hi, I'm Mark Sanders, and I'm your longtime host, interviewing Shelbyville and Shelby County community and business leaders every week. For some 10 years, WTIM, your information station, has originated its Friday morning show live from our downtown Shelbyville studios. Tune in on AM or FM or online every Friday from 8:40 to 10. Brought to you by these great sponsors.
The Sarah Bush Lincoln Shelbyville Clinic and its network of specialists throughout Central Illinois is proud to be the title sponsor of the WTIM Shelbyville Morning Show each week.
If you're 40 and over, you'll recognize these artists by their first names: Frank, Dean, Sammy, Andy, Nat, Diana, Michael. Well, here's the big news. You can now hear Central Illinois' largest music library with over 3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
Pana schools provide excellence in education and are rooted in the Pana community. Become a part of Panther Pride and find out the great things happening in Pana schools by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Jansen's Heating and Air is the home of Dr. Comfort, focusing on customer care for heating and air conditioning across Central Illinois for some 35 years. Find out their services, specials, and coupons by clicking their icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM.
We're back with the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station and brought to you by folks like People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us, Taylor Sinclair, 4-H Youth Program Development Coordinator with the University of Illinois Extension. We talked about what's to come here and also what took place with their Evergreen Porch Pot Workshop, but there's still more on the docket. And Taylor, the next thing I'm seeing here is making your money work. Making your money work. When is that going to be, and what can you tell us?
Yes, so the date of this one is February 16th, and this will be from 1:30 to 3 o'clock. So it'll be during the day, which the kids are actually out of school this day, or they're getting out early. I can't quite remember exactly, but I know there was a reason why I chose it like that. So that way the kids can go and they can learn about this little banking workshop. I also have a financial advisor that is planning to come in and talk to the kids a little bit, just about like investments and just kind of help give some directions as they're getting older. And that way maybe we can put it in their mind that they can start thinking about some of this stuff, but also make it to where it's not as scary sounding. Because I feel like sometimes it gets a little scary to think about getting older and just the different things that life throws at you. And maybe we can help you make them a little more prepared.
Well, I don't know about you, Taylor, but yeah, it doesn't change. I don't think that part ever gets that much better either. I think it's always a little scary, and especially for kids that come from maybe financial situations that they're maybe not learning to save maybe as they should, or whatever the case might be. Hopefully some fiscal responsibility would help in going a long way. There was one other thing, Taylor, that we wanted to maybe touch on and just do so as quick as we could. We got just about a minute though to be able to do so. A 4-H winter photo contest.
Yes, so the deadline for this is February 20th. We have Clover Buds ages 5 to 7, 4-H members ages 8 to 13, and ages 14 to 18. So anytime throughout the winter, if you have a photo, now you do have to be a 4-H member to be able to participate in this, but anytime in the winter, take a picture. You can submit it to Kate, which is kind of in the directions if they need some more information on it, but they can submit a photo and get a chance at winning the winter photo contest.
Okay, and that is for Clover Bud ages 5 through 7, 4-H 8 through 13, and then also 14 through 18. So 3 age categories, and just capture the magic of winter and send it on the way of Kate Harding. Well, Taylor, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you.
Taylor Sinclair, 4-H Youth Program Development Coordinator with the University of Illinois Extension here on WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelbyville. 107.9 FM Pena Nokomis.
Turning up the pressure on Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, the target, according to President Trump, a vessel It was carrying sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran.
We've just seized